Welcome to Function Basics Part 2. This video is going to be a little bit longer than yesterday's, but hang with me. Say we have a graph of discrete data that we have measured, like we did with the thermometers. Now we can see that the data is in a line shape, so let's put a continuous line through the middle of the data. This continuous line is called a trend line. And a trend line has an equation that I can use to predict more data. Now, how should I describe the trend line? Well, it's a line, but that's obvious. Let's look at the direction of the line. As I move to the right, the line moves up. This is called positive slope. Do you remember that slope is rise over run? When I move to the right 4, I have to move up 4 to get back to the line. So my slope, represented by the letter M, is 4 over 4. And 4 over 4 is the same thing as 1. But what if the slope isn't positive? So here's my new graph of discrete data. And here's my new continuous trend line. So let's describe it. Well, it is a line, so that's first off. But as I move to the right, let's see, move to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, positive 9, okay. I have to move down 5 spaces in order to get back to the line. Since I had to move down, this is called negative slope. To find the value of the slope, well, hold on, definition. Negative slope. There we go. To find the value of the slope, I take my vertical value of negative 5 and divide it by my horizontal value of positive 9. Now this fraction doesn't reduce, so I'm done. Now I can describe my trend line with an equation. Y equals negative 5/9 x plus 4. You should remember this as a slope-intercept form because you have the slope and the y-intercept in the equation. Okay, one more and then we're done. Time for everyone's favorite, word problems. Daniel puts 15 gallons of gas in his car at a price of $3.63 per gallon. How much was the total cost of the fuel? Now, I've already given you the equation. So the cost, C, equals $3.36 times G, which represents the number of gallons. Every math problem is made up of two parts, independent variables and dependent variables. As long as you know which is which, you'll be fine. Now the independent variable is usually on the right side of the equation with the numbers. This is the variable that controls the total value of the equation. The dependent variable is usually on the left side of the equation by itself. This is the total value of the equation, and it is controlled by the independent variable. Another way to think of it is the independent variable is the input and the dependent variable is the output. In other words, independent goes into the equation and dependent comes out. So how do we tell independent and dependent in the word problem? Remember that the independent variable controls the dependent value. So look at the word problem and try to figure out which one is the independent variable and which one is the dependent variable. Gallons is independent. For the dependent variable, that's usually what the question is asking. So here, it's cost. And if you ever get lost, just check. What is the question actually wanting you to find? The question says how much was the total cost. Therefore, cost has to be the dependent. That's it. Take a minute to think about trend lines, positive slope, negative slope, slope-intercept form, independent variables, and dependent variables. If you can't remember, check your notes. If you didn't take notes, watch the video again. See you tomorrow.